Today, we'll learn about writing reviews, including the types of reviews you can write, some review writing guidelines, note-taking for reviews, the review format, and how journalists can avoid libel when writing reviews. Let's start by going through a few types of reviews you can write. Now, movie reviews are incredibly popular. With movie tickets typically costing more than $10, it's wise to check out a review or two before shelling out that much money on what might be a horrible flick. TV shows are another popular type of review, along with album reviews, concerts, and plays. You can also have reviews about books, video games, restaurants, art exhibits, and you can finally review products, everything from new cars and computers to washing machines and lawn fertilizer. Santa Barbara City College's journalism department offers some guidelines on what every review should include. First, your review needs to be a strongly worded, unambiguous summary of your opinion. Whether the review is in first or third person language, it should be clear that it's the writer's opinion. Just like with an opinion column, your review should include a well-developed, multi-point argument supporting your opinion. Don't just say it was the best book you've ever read, or the worst. Talk about the plot, the pacing, the language, the chapter titles, whatever it is that makes you feel the way you do. A colleague of mine once described a book as a poorly written magazine article that just wouldn't end. Now that gives you a much better picture of the book than if she just said, it sucked. Finally, a review needs to include factual accuracy on all points. Spelling an actor's name wrong, messing up the time of the play, or giving the wrong address of a restaurant all destroy your credibility with your readers. Even if everything else in the review is flawless, your readers have no reason to trust your opinion if they can't trust your facts. Santa Barbara City College also has a few guidelines on writing a review. First, explain what you are reviewing. Now, this might seem obvious, and yeah, the reader might be able to guess the subject from the title of the review, but you want to make sure you get to what it is you're actually reviewing by the third or fourth paragraph, and no later. Now, as I already mentioned with formulating your argument, give specific examples. If you are reviewing a restaurant and you think the ambiance is great, talk about the lighting and the color of the tablecloth and whatever else makes you think that there's great ambiance. You want to clearly state your FYI details. Now, these are things like where readers can see a play performed, the address of the restaurant you reviewed, the price of the book you read, or where they can buy the product that you talked about. Now, you might want to include this information as a sidebar if you can't easily work it into the story. Always be honest, which includes being negative if that's what's warranted. Not everything you review will be stellar. Now, don't be unnecessarily cruel, but you also don't want to sugarcoat things either, because it's important to remember your readers. You're writing for them, to tell them whether it's worth their time and their money, to buy a video game, see an art exhibit, or watch a new TV series. And remember that reviewers are still journalists, which means accuracy is imperative. As I already said, just like in a news, feature, or opinion column, you have to get every last detail right. Finally, Harriet Gilbert, no relation, wrote the chapter in our textbook and recommends asking yourself 5 questions to ensure you are serving your readers well. Have I given the review object, the play, the book, etc., my full, open-minded attention? Did I watch the whole movie? Did I read the whole book or listen to the whole album? Have I reached my assessment honestly? Is that how I really feel? Am I worried about making someone angry or upset with my review? If I absolutely hate country music, for example, am I the right person to review a concert by a country artist? Probably not. Have I made my assessment clear? Can my readers tell if I loved it, or hated it, or thought it was just so-so? Have I provided my readers with enough descriptive and factual information? Now, this is important because everyone has different tastes. A reviewer may dislike a romantic comedy for being sappy and predictable, but if that's what some readers like, they should be able to tell that from the objective parts of the review, whether it be worth it for them to see or watch. And finally, is my writing engaging to my readers? If the review is boring, even if the review object is not, no one will ever read the review. Now we'll take a look at note-taking for review writing. Now, some people can take very little notes when experiencing their subject, playing a video game, watching a TV show or concert, or using a new cell phone. I am not one of those people, so I recommend taking as many notes as you can so you don't forget key details later. Like writing any other piece of journalism, it's good to start with the facts. Now, not everything will make it into the finished story, but it's good to start with where a concert is being held, who is directing or acting in a play, how long an art exhibit will run, and other FYI facts. Now, you might also want to do a little research into your subject, taking a look at previous work, other restaurants a cook has worked, other books written by an author, or other albums a musician has released. Now, for all things cinematic, your new best friend is the Internet Movie Database. Online at imdb.com and available as a mobile app, the IMDb is an online database containing millions of movies, TV episodes, and all the people who worked on them, from actors and directors to composers and makeup artists. This will come in handy when writing your movie review, or anytime you're watching something on TV and can't remember where you've seen that person before. Now, after your facts, you want to provide your sensory impressions. How did what you are reviewing look, sound, and make you feel? If you are reviewing a restaurant, how did the food smell and taste? Your sensory impressions influence your opinion, so feel free to include them in your notes and, if appropriate, in the actual review. Write down quotes from the movie, book, TV show, etc. that illustrate what's going on. And finally, what is your reaction to what you are reviewing? Now, this is one thing you probably won't forget, but with time, that feeling might change. Now, that's also interesting to note. If you find you feel differently an hour or a day after you end your review, but before you start writing. The review format will look familiar, as it's the same one for opinion columns and editorials. Now, the lead provides some background. It can describe a scene from a play or provide biographical information about a book's author. The nut graph is where you say what you liked and what you didn't like, if you liked what you reviewed. Arguments and evidence are offered in the body. Use it to explain why you felt the way you did, with concrete examples to support your opinion. But remember, no spoilers. You don't want to reveal the murderer's name or that the couple gets together in the end. And in the conclusion, you restate your opinion. In the next few slides, we'll dissect the review "Deadpool Promises Too Much but Delivers Enough to Entertain" from the Corsair student newspaper at Santa Monica College, a community college in Santa Monica, California. Now, in the lead paragraph, the author provides a little background information about how he's kind of over the whole superhero genre. In the next few slides, we'll dissect the review "Deadpool Promises Too Much but Delivers Enough to Entertain" from the Corsair student newspaper at Santa Monica College, a community college in Santa Monica, California. Now, in the lead paragraph, the author provides a little background information about how he's kind of over the whole superhero genre. The nut graph is where you let readers know what you are reviewing and what you thought of it. Now, Deadpool is the subject of the review, and the reviewer thought it was so-so. Not great, but not bad. At least it tried to do something different, even if it didn't always succeed. In the body, the reviewer provides arguments and evidence to support the opinion presented in the nut graph. Our author details several examples of what he liked and didn't like about the movie to support his one thumb up, one thumb down review. Now notice he didn't say whether Deadpool gets back together with his girlfriend or defeats his nemesis. Those spoilers are best kept out of the reviews. Finally, a good review wraps up by restating the opinion. The film was enjoyable, but it fell well short of what the reviewer thought it could have been. Even though review writing is your opinion, it doesn't mean you can say anything you want. Libel is the publication of a false statement that maliciously or carelessly damages someone's reputation. In order for something to be found libelous, all 5 of the following criteria must be met. The statement must be false, based on facts that are wrong or unverifiable. The statement must be defamatory. Usually a libelous statement accuses someone of a crime or an immorality, discredits a person professionally, or implies someone has a loathsome disease. Now, the statement must be published. Any form of communication counts, whether it's printed, broadcast, posted online, or through social media. The statement must have an identifiable plaintiff. Now, it's up to the plaintiff to prove that the libelous statement is about them. And finally, the defendants, that's you, must be at fault through either negligence, that's failure to exercise appropriate care, or through malice. Once upon a time, there was a vaudeville trio called the Cherry Sisters, and they were awful. A critic for a small-town Iowa newspaper saw the group perform in 1901 and wrote a rather scathing review. Now, the sisters read the review and sued for libel. The judge who heard their case had also seen their terrible show and ruled in favor of the newspaper. Now, the sisters appealed to the Iowa Supreme Court, who ruled that, quote, any performance to which the public is invited may be freely criticized. Now, this case established the definition of what's called fair comment and criticism. Because of the Cherry Sisters, reviewers are free to publish negative critiques of books, films, plays, restaurants, etc. Now, they aren't, however, free to publish damaging facts that aren't true. That's libel.